Hey there, guys. Welcome. Today, we're going to address the elephant in the room. Not this elephant. No, guys. But seriously, there's so much going on in the world today. So many issues keeping us divided. Issues that affect how you experience life. One issue in particular has become a major topic of strong debate. By now, I'm sure you are aware of the arguments regarding the topic of gender. Everyone wants to identify who they are and define where they belong. This is where things get messy. Please, bear with me, guys. First and foremost, I mean no offense, and I apologize ahead of time for anything of the sort. This is not merely about personal opinions. It's not about hate. I am not here to cast any judgment. Like Planet Fitness, this is a judgment-free zone. And I'm sure we're all aware of what's happened recently with Planet Fitness. Let's take a look.
Planet Fitness finds itself in hot water after ejecting a member who raised objections about a transgender person using the women's locker room. The incident has sparked outrage on social media, with calls to boycott the fitness chain gaining momentum. Planet Fitness responded by revoking Silva's membership, citing its policy of inclusivity.
There's a deeper issue here that needs to be addressed in regards to the feminist movement, which is an ongoing political, social, and cultural movement focused on inclusion and equality for all genders, with a deeper focus on women's rights and equality, more so in relation to the male counterpart. But who is feminism for? Not all true-born females adopt this way of thinking or living. Yet for those of you who want to maintain your feministic womanhood and your female identity, you are left with concerns about where you belong and how to identify yourself. Historically, gender consisted of either male or female. And these genders were defined by both biological components and physical traits. That is, your genetic material contained within your gender chromosomes, or your biology, your biological makeup, and the typical development with a noticeable difference of appearances, i.e., your physical traits. Each gender was assigned corresponding pronouns and social constructs. We all knew the language. We didn't choose it. We were just born into it. But now, a whole new set of terminology and vocabulary has emerged, redefining both gender and physically intimate relationships. But for those of you who want to maintain your feministic womanhood and your female identity, you are left with concerns about where you belong and how to identify yourself. This raises a whole new set of questions and concerns for you and for me. As women of today's world, who have historically identified as either woman or female. All of these changes are confusing. You don't know the language. You're unable to identify yourself in a way that makes sense to you. You don't know where you fit in any longer. You are not alone. I am just as confused and lost. But I don't want you to get lost amidst the confusion. Now, today, no one can identify, nor can they define, what a woman is, what a real woman is. What is a woman? What is a real woman? Everything becomes shaky with no clear foundation, no basis on which to begin answering such a loaded question. Let me give you an example of what I'm seeing.
Binary personal trainer who thinks having a gym for just women is sexist, dangerous, not safe for women. What?
So I keep seeing stories about this new women's gym that's for biological women, but no trans women, right? And I just can't help but think this isn't a safe space for women, not for cis women or any women, because if trans women are very explicitly excluded, then that means any woman who doesn't perform femininity the way that the woman that owns the gym thinks they should is They're going to be like, oh, you've got too much muscle, you're not a real woman. Oh, you're a bit hairy, you're not a real woman. Oh, you're a bit tall, you're not a real woman.
No. More like, oh, you've got XY chromosomes, you're not a real woman. Biological reality doesn't care about your feelings or your delusions.
This is why I'm here. It's obvious that a deeper issue needs to be addressed regarding a long-held sacred movement dedicated to women, fought hard for by women. So, this person is upset that a group historically termed female would like to maintain safe places for themselves. Now, those born with XY gender chromosomes can identify as female and become part of your identified group. And you might be wondering how this might challenge all that women have historically gained. Prior to the transgender movement, you could have confidently defined what makes a woman, well, a woman. Now, you too are unsure. In the meantime, I began to wonder, to question. Based on the new standards and definitions, and I'll be honest, I don't know much of it at all. But I started to question if I was a being that should identify as either woman or female any longer. I was open to a whole new way of thinking. This presented the challenge of creating and establishing a new identity. One for all true-born females who feel the same, that identifying as either woman or female no longer aligns with the truth of who you are. Therefore, I've now decided to identify myself by my genetic makeup, a category that not just anyone can claim nor infiltrate. I now identify as a double X chromosomer, or simply a 2Xer for short. This specifically identifies who I am and in which category I belong to unequivocally. Have you ever wondered why the transgender movement only seems to be a problem affecting 2Xers in regards to the XY trans? And the XY trans are what I term for a male born identifying as a female. I've noticed a parallel that the XYers, or true-born males, and the 2X trans, my term for female born identifying as male, they seem to be experiencing little to no problems, at least not yet. 2X trans are not currently playing in men's sports on any level, and the XYers don't seem to have much complaint about them sharing intimate spaces. This may honestly reflect gender differences, which have been key to how each human views their human experience. Historically, females have been objectified and subjected to traumatic experiences of varying levels of inappropriate treatment, to put it mildly. That's why, even if you identify as a female, it is still troubling for 2Xers to have to share intimate spaces that put us in vulnerable situations. So although the XY trans feel and identify as female, they cannot authentically share in all that it means to be female. Yet, not all true-born females or 2Xers have lived this experience and can't relate to that either. And then again, some boys have experienced this as well. And then it made me wonder, could this be a reason why some men feel feminine? Why some XYers grow to feel feminine and possibly identify as feeling as though they are female? The transgender movement, while fighting to establish their rights, seem, to me, to cause some rights historically achieved by and for women are now being overlooked and nearly dissolved for true-born women, or 2Xers, and we're currently falling back into oppressive societal standards. How can we support the right of transgenders while losing our own rights? I don't have a problem with the transgender movement, except that they are infiltrating a group rather than establishing their own group. And if more than two genders exist, why identify as female? Now, I also need you to take a look at this video clip, which will help you to see where I'm going and why I'm addressing this issue.
Let me go in there. Huh? Let me make sure nobody in here. Hello? See? There go man. There goes. What the heck? There's the man. You know this is the women's bathroom, right?
Creep.
Sorry. That's the women's bathroom. A man in the women's bathroom. That's why you gotta go in here with your kids.
Straight up.
How did that make you feel? So, as you can see, there are definitely ex-wires legitimately identifying as female. But you can also see that some ex-wires are still identifying as their male selves and can put two exers, both young and old, in precarious situations. Situations that could lead to some seriously troubling life experiences, permitting you endure through it. The potential risk of harm is real. I'd potentially like to delve deeper into this topic, but it would require interest from the community. If this gets a substantial amount of attention, I will most definitely present more of my findings. Regardless, this issue was important to me, so I will be working on this issue for community solutions for all, because true feminism is about inclusion and equality for all genders. This seems like a moment for us to come together in unity, to make sure that we don't lose our identity and all that our ancestors fought for your gain and mine. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again. Have a great weekend. Stay positive. Always keep asking questions and searching for the answers to the truth. Until next time.